What's going on, Pathways? I'm Jake Collins, your middle school pastor, and I'm so excited to join you this week for our daily dose. A generation is a group of people born within a certain number of years. We hear quite a bit about generations in the media, and it's usually not very good. People of different generations often have a hard time understanding each other, and that can very easily lead to conflict. Meanwhile, we have at least 5 generations represented here at Pathways. The church can and should be a place where members of different generations can come together in a community of faith. This week on our Daily Dose, we're going to look at 5 passages of scripture that give us guidance on connecting the generations. When I was a little kid, I was really into promises. I took anything an adult told me as a promise, even small things, and I would get super frustrated if I felt like someone broke a big promise. A big example of this involved pizza. Sometimes early in the week, my mom might say something like, "We'll probably have pizza on Friday night." Then we get to Friday night and there wouldn't be any pizza. And what was my response? "But you promised we'd have pizza." Now as an adult, I understand that there's a huge difference between a casual comment about pizza and a promise. We know that keeping promises is a good thing, but we also know that life circumstances are constantly changing. That can make it very difficult for us to keep our promises to each other. In the Old Testament, God makes several key promises or covenants to individuals and families. 2 of the most significant are with Noah and Abraham. In Genesis 9, God promises to Noah that he will never flood the earth again. He says in verse 12, "This is the sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, a covenant for all future generations." Similarly, in Genesis 17:7, God says to Abraham, "I will confirm my covenant that is between me and you and your future offspring throughout the generations." In the Old Testament, we see generation after generation struggle to follow God, but we also see God continue to keep his promises. Maybe you're of an older generation and you feel like the world is moving so fast that you can barely keep up. Maybe you're of a younger generation and you're just waiting on the world to change. Let me remind you of one more promise from God. In Matthew 28:20, Jesus says, "I am with you always, even to the end of the age." Yes, there are going to be times when we see things differently based on when we were born and when we grew up. But we can always find unity in the God who never changes and always keeps his promises. That's all for today. See you tomorrow for another Daily Dose.